Hi, Kelly.
Hello, Saman. How are you, darling? You
Good, you okay?
very good, thank you. How is everybody? Hi, Hattie. Hi, Josie. Hi, Rose. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. So, as normal, guys. Oh, we've got Matthew joining us as well. Hi, Matthew. Good evening. Hello, how are you? So, as normal, guys, this is our monthly session where we all get together and share ideas, ask questions. Please do remember that everybody is at a different stage of the journey. So, do not worry if you're thinking, what on earth are they talking about? Because it's like everything. At the beginning of your journey, you're not going to know what it looks like at the end. So, all as you need to do is take the next step, whether you're on the course where you do it on your own and you meet us here every month, whether you do one of the programs with me. Um, Everybody's journey is different. So don't worry if you don't know what we're talking about, because chances are that the person that's talking may be a bit further down the road than you. What I would ask is, if you're not talking and asking a question, can you all just mute your mics for me? Just because sometimes we pick up some background noise, um, especially if somebody's traveling or eating their dinner or the TV's on the background or the kids are doing the homework. Um, so we just get a bit of feedback from somebody. So just mics, that would be amazing. Uh, Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. So how we normally work is, I've got loads of questions already in. So I'm going to make a start on the questions that I've
Good to see you.
um, I'm going to make a start on the questions that are maybe more relevant to the starters. And then as we get going, if there are more questions, please pop them in the chat. Or if you want to just raise your hand, you want to talk, no problem. Either way works. So I got a question from in already. I've got a couple of people that are going to be watching on the pre-record tomorrow. Please do remember that everything we do on our last Thursday of every month is always recorded. So if there's anything you want to go back to after module 3, there's over 15 hours of classrooms now from last year as well. So you can always go back on there and you can watch them, or you can just listen to them. You know, we're all a bit nerdy. We love our products. You can listen to them as you're cleaning or, doing the whatever you're doing. You don't always have to watch the screen. And a lot of the time it's just learning the terminology. How do we speak about products? What are the questions we ask? So without further ado, I've got a couple of questions in. Okay. How do I avoid picking a product that's too competitive? That's a good one. So we can start with that one. And what are the signs of a bad product idea? So as you guys all know, there's lots of different tools that we can use when we're searching for products. One of the ones that I use with beginners is AMZ Scout, because it's really easy to look at the niche score and the PL score. I'll share my screen in a second. So what I would say, initially, we're looking for a high niche score, a good PL score, which PL stands for private label. And remember, what we are doing is private label. We're not doing white label, and we're not doing wholesale, and we're not doing arbitrage. So if someone says, are you doing wholesale or are you doing drop shipping? You're not doing drop shipping. We're doing a method of Amazon that's called private label. So when we're looking for a product, in the first instance, we will go to Amazon, we'll search in Amazon, and we'll download the free extension AMZ Scout tool that I showed you all in the first module. There are loads of other tools you can use. You can use Helium 10, you can use Jungle Scout. But when you're first looking at products, I always use AMZ Scout because I just think it's a lot easier. We use all the tools in our agency, but having used them all, I do find it is the most easy. And I'll just give you a quick refresh for somebody who's looking for product for the first time. I will share my screen in 1 second. Actually, while I share my screen, I'm going to show you a couple of people's products as well that are not here tonight, but they have allowed me to share. So Lens Pop, this is one of my students. So we've already got over 14 stars. So we've got a few products. This lady's got a few products now. So this is one of my students. Look how pretty it looks, and it's working very well. So when you come into Amazon, say if you're just doing some random searches, you can start with random searches. So you may think, when we ask you, when we first probably meet you, we ask you about hobbies and things you know a lot about. So say for instance, you know a lot about, let's just think of a hobby. Fishing. Let's go for fishing. I don't know why. So let's say fishing rods. When you start typing in fishing, you see like Amazon already comes up with ideas. They're the most typed keywords. So sometimes that gives you clues as well. So if you've downloaded the free Pro Extension tool, you can just click away. And of course, it will start pulling up data. Now, this is all in module 1, of course, but you'll see that the data starts loading up and these scores all start changing here and these here also start changing. What we're looking for is a green PL score down here. So again, we're looking for PL scores really over 6, 7 is even better, 8 is even better, 9 is even better. And ultimately, we're looking for this niche score here to be 7 or over. So what it means, and you can click on this and it tells you, so you don't have to remember it all. So overall score for the fishing rod, likely to succeed. Well, that was quite a good guess, wasn't it? A very high profit, low demand, which is not great, medium competition. But when you look down here for the PL scores, you'll notice that there are some green scores, some amber scores, and of course, you've got some red ones. So what you want to be looking at here is these green scores here. There's something about these products that are in demand, probably the price point. So I would probably look at this and click away because £30, not really interested in selling a product for £30. Remember, we're always looking over that in price point because everybody who comes on Amazon always says, yes, I want to sell in kitchen. That's the biggest one that I get. I want to sell things that people use every day. The problem about these common products is that they are mainly saturated. What we are trying to find is a niche and an area of Amazon that is not so saturated. So something like fishing or running or something where it's quite niche. So you might be really good at running and you might think, oh, I'm going to invent some nice vests for running, hydration vests. And then you could make like 5 different hydration vests. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for like really getting into those areas. Maybe the kids have got hobbies or the stuff you do with your brother or your sister or whatever. So this is where we normally start. So what we're looking for here in the general terms is a high niche score, high PL score. Then we start digging into the data. Of course, at the side, you've got these bars, these cursors. You can add them to your tracker. What's a really nice thing to do is just search for loads of different products, add them to your tracker, and just keep adding them and have a look at them over the day. See which ones are doing really well, which ones aren't. And then again, you can also, if you do buy the software, you can go into the main product database and set your categories and your filters, and you can really drill down on all of the data. So that's really how you start to find a winning product. If the niche is saturated and it's overrun with products, this score up here will be red, okay? So that's why it's quite easy when you're first starting to use the software because it gives you quick overviews. I've just got someone else joining, so we'll let them in. So that is something that I would always start like in the beginning. Start with your hobby, start with your ideas, come into Amazon. Obviously, if you were wanting to sell in the US, you'd be in Amazon.com before you start using that that extension tool. But you can also go through the main product database. So just another quick one. In the modules, guys, there is also a whole bunch of trending products, and I tend to put them in there every week or every 2 weeks. We're due to do another big upload tomorrow, so keep your eyes peeled. So after, again, I think it's after the classrooms or before, it's around the classrooms on the pre-records in the software. If you go into there, if you just can't think of any ideas, there's loads of ideas that I've popped in there from 2025. So these are trending products. Now, mainly I put them in from the US because they have the bigger number. But normally what happens with Amazon is the UK follows suit because a lot of big Amazon sellers do not sell in the UK because they're not interested in the UK. The UK is tiny for them. They want to focus in the US where they're selling 10 times what we are selling. All right. So if we're doing like this product here, this fishing rod's doing 31,000, probably in the States, something like this, we'll be doing 10 times. And that is monthly. Okay. So when people say Amazon's dead, you can laugh in their face because it's definitely not dead. And there's just about finding that right product. So let me just show you. I'm going to stop share and reshare. So I'm going to flash through some of these. Now, people like Greg and maybe other people that were on in the last month might have seen a few of these. So bear with if you've seen a couple of these before, because I'm just opening them up from the classrooms on file. So there might be a couple here that some of you have seen before. But again, these are monthly figures. Okay, so for those of you who haven't got a product idea yet, see if any of these are kind of up your street, make you think, oh, you know what, this one could be good for me, because we have got lots of these. So this one was an adjustable toddler step. So those of you with kids, babies, thinking, oh my God, you know what, this would be perfect. This product here is a great price, $67. So in the UK, it's probably going to sell for like 50, 55 pounds. And again, over 66,000 in revenue. This is a month. These are all monthly figures. So everything you see on Amazon is monthly. Has a great niche score, some really good PL scores. In fact, loads of green. What I'm seeing as this whole trend with Amazon, with even the stores that we do, it's massively now about sustainability, about wood, bamboo, you know, probably less plastic. So if you are thinking of toddlers and babies, like if you can add more wood, it comes with certification requirements too, but wood tends to be more requested. Okay, then we've got a balloon pump for those of you who like pumping balloons. This is an inflator and a deflator. So, you know, again, probably a bit seasonal, but then we do have birthdays all throughout the year. So could be a good one. It's got only 68 reviews, which is nothing. And look, over $50,000 a month in revenue. I mean, kind of crazy. Beef collagen dog chews. Did you know that there's now collagen dog chews? I mean, it's absolute madness. For those of you who love a bit of painting, diamond painting accessory pen. So lovely arts and craft. Arts and craft is big business if you get the right products. Edible cocktail decorations. Very nice. I like this product, but again, slightly low price for me. Not keen. File folders. Not sure about this one. High-waisted glitter skirt. Those of you who like your clothing. Infrared laser temperature gun. Now, this would be super handy, but unfortunately, the price is a little bit low again. This is nice. Over 70, about $70. This is a keyless entry door lock. Now, again, I would look at this product and think, is this something that more and more people are using? And I think yes, because kids go to school, they forget their keys, but they can open the door. Maybe you're renting a room, maybe you're doing Airbnb. Great product, fits in with like everything that's happening with smart homes. So again, this is a great product. I think we're going to see more rise of this kind of product on Amazon. And again, kids treasure hunting detector. So, you know, great to take away on holidays down at the beach. I could think of this, could be good for someone who's on here tonight. Lives near the beach, hint, hint. Microphone stand with round base. This is a great one, about $40, and again, over $7,000 a month. And then we've got the military smartwatch. So I think I've got someone on here tonight, not mentioning any names, that's doing watches. So this could be excellent for you. Modern farmhouse pottery. You could imagine that in a really nice modern house, couldn't you? Very nice. These look very clean, lovely lines. I think these would go very well in contemporary homes and even maybe farmhouses. So again, this could be a nice little niche if you like your pottery. Portable windshield defogger. And then we've got the rotary cheese grater. So this is more of an industrial one with a big handle. Toddler tricycle bike. tub and tar refining kit, ankle balance board. Again, great for rehabilitation. Car charging, so great. Cat tunnel bed, I posted about that this week on my social. This is a really fun one. A little bit low on price, but maybe you could change something and make it a higher price point. But imagine having this hanging over your sofa armrest. Not as I get to sit on my sofa very much, but you know, you got your remote control, you got your little bar of chocolate in the night, watching the TV, and all the other bits. Maybe your reading glasses, maybe a little magazine. That's cool. And then we've got the stackable record holders, mouse repellent ultrasonic plug. Oh my God, that's quite scary. Sea grapes dehydrated. That is a very strange one. Hijab scarves for women, erosion control, and it goes on. So if you guys are stuck for ideas, please do not worry. Okay. If you're on the course or even if you're on one of the one-on-one programs, you can nip in there and you can get loads of ideas and literally you'll be, wow, you'll think this is great. And then you can go back into Amazon and you can start searching. Remember, if you are stuck on your searching, we can definitely help you, but I'm sure many of you will be absolutely fine. So if you are stuck, they're in the resource after the classrooms. And remember, if you've got time, watch the classrooms because many questions that we have are the same questions because obviously when you're learning, people get the same kind of questions. So the whole idea of Amazon FBA is that you are finding a product that has got demand, like people are looking for this product, but you're trying to bring something different to the marketplace. So we're not just looking on Amazon and then finding that product on Alibaba or made in China, buying that product and putting it back on Amazon. Because if you do that, chances are the product is just not going to really sell that well. What we're trying to do with the research is this is just a starting point to say, right, people are looking for this product, but now what can I do to make it better? What do I know people are struggling with this product? And we can do that with a number of reasons. We can look at the reviews of the product and we can say, right, we know that people don't like the size, the fabric, the color. Maybe they're moaning about, you know, it doesn't fit here. There's something wrong with it. Something keeps breaking. And then it's up to us to take that, to get the samples and to work with the manufacturer to correct those things. And then when we're at a stage where we believe, okay, this is a really good product, what we then need to do is work out, okay, how do we package this all together? Are we going to put another product with it? Are we going to make it like this in a custom box? Are we going to put a nice logo on the front? Are we going to put branding on the back? How are we going to make it look like a retail product, like it should be on the shelves of a department store? Okay, that's when we look at, okay, brand name, logo, and we work through the modules. So module 1 is all about finding that product. And when we found it, we moved to module 2, which is all about, okay, how do I now find it? Which brings me really nicely on to another question I've got. And again, this is just someone that started, so they haven't gone through all the modules yet. How do I find a reliable supplier and get samples? So let me just share. And again, guys, if you've got questions, just get them in the chat. I'm really happy to answer any questions you've got. So there's a couple of things. When you're looking at the research tools, you can click through and you can go straight into Alibaba. You can also just type in Alibaba or also look at websites like Made in China, Global Sources. So for instance, if we were looking, what was the fishing rod that was doing well? Let's just have a quick look. I'll share my screen in just a second. I'm just getting, okay. Let me just share my screen and show you. Now I'm doing it in quite the basic way, of course, because there's always many more steps to everything. And I know some of you are going to be really fussy about your product and you're really going to want it to look beautiful. So say for instance, this is the one that had a green PL score. So if, for instance, I was like, you know what, I really like this product, I'm going to try and find something similar, blah, blah, blah. What I would do is I would look at this. It's a 3.7 star. So even though this is making really good sales, it's rubbish because people don't like it. It's under 4 stars. And when products drop under 4 stars and they start declining, then Amazon doesn't promote those products. So this brand NGT have to fix this problem, else this product will just die a death. And that's why when we're sampling products and we're sourcing them, we need to make sure they're really good, because if they pass the test with us, then they're going to pass the test with the customers of Amazon. Where a lot of people get Amazon wrong is they actually don't test the products. Would you believe it? They find someone in China or in India or wherever, and they put the product straight into Amazon and they cross their fingers. Now, it's a sure sign, it's a sure way to have no success, because can you imagine, things break, you haven't packaged it right, you haven't got the right manual, and it goes on and on and on and on. So if we were trying to find this product and you've got something like the AMZ Scout tool, you would simply just click into it. This would come up here. I would click the side navigation here, and I would just click here where it says, so this one's doing 66 units a month and it's doing nearly £2,000. Okay, this product, even though it's 3.7 stars. Yeah, so there's something that needs fix on this product, and we're not going to read all the reviews because we haven't got time. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to go straight down here and I'm going to click find a supplier. Now I'm going to go to Alibaba. Now, as you can see, it's going to bring a whole host of suppliers up. And, you know, I don't know what fishing is. I mean, I know what fishing is, but I don't really know what's a good rod. Hence why I always say do something first for your first product that you know a lot about. Because even if I got one of these home, I'm not really going to try and go fishing on the weekend to test it because I don't know nothing about it. Okay. So when you know something about what you're doing, it makes it so much easier because you get the product and you're like, oh my God, this is good, this is bad, blah, 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 blah. Read the reviews, put the two together, make a brilliant product. If, like me, you are not a fisherman or a fisherwoman and you get this home, you're going to struggle because you're going to be like, what? How, you know, how does this thing work? So when you're looking through the product, there are quick ways, and a lot of you will know this already. There's ways to filter down and look at the factory level. And what I would say is when you're looking at products, always make sure you use the certifications and make sure you're only dealing with factories that are maybe trade assured, so they've got insurance, that if anything goes wrong with the money you spend on Alibaba, it's completely secure. So you don't need to worry about losing money. I would also make sure they've got the right certification, so CE certified and all of that good stuff. And if you're not sure about what certifications products need, then you can go onto the government website and you can check it out there. They will literally, it has everything listed on the government website. So now we're out of the EU, which is not great. And there's more certifications we need, like the UKCA on a lot of things, but it's all listed there. And if you're not sure, I can help you because I've done most products in most categories. So Alibaba is one sourcing website. Once you've looked through and you've got your sort of your suppliers down, you can really dive into the factory and really get to grips with it. So you can come in here and you can, oh, bless you, whoever that is. Someone's got
Oh,
a snake.
sorry. Did you hear me? Oh, sorry, sorry.
Oh, it's you, Mira. Hi, how
Yes.
have you been? Right. So look, you can click in the factory here and you can see all about the factory. Okay, so you can see, we're going to go into the profile and it's very slow, but 4.8, 36 reviews. We can see their main products. We can see their revenue, how many people they've got in R&D, which is research and development, and so on. Now, what I'm looking for here is I'm looking for product certifications. I can see that's blank. So I would probably click away from here, but I'm just I need all my certifications because I want everyone to be safe. And this just seems like no. And also this tells us they're doing below $1 million. I don't really want to be dealing with a factory that does below $1 million because I want to deal with a big factory that's supplying Costco and Walmart and all the big guys. Because if they're doing those kind of products for those kind of people, you know that they have every kind of certification in place, like a L'Oreal audited factory or a Disney. You're going to know that you're in really, really good hands. And there's ways to check for that. So I would always come in here, do a deep dive into the supplier, really kind of get into it and read the reviews. And then once you get to the stage, you'll find in module 2, you've got all the templates to request for more information. You can do an RFQ. But basically what we want to do then is request more information. Okay, we want to find all the information from the supplier. Then we can gather all the info. We can then go, right, they're really good, they're not good, they're good. And then maybe you're left with 2 or 3 factories. And then once you've got all the pricing, we haven't even ordered a sample by now. I mean, we've done all of this work. Can you believe it? But what we're then looking at is price points. We're going to say, okay, does that actually work? If I'm buying that at 20 and I'm selling it at 80 and I've got to put my freight in there, does that actually work? What my FBA fee is going to be, which we'll come on to, and then how does it all break down backwards so that we can kind of make sure that with our cost of goods taken off, we've got enough margin left for ourselves at the end. This is why we do high price point products. If you're selling something at £5, you're probably going to be competing against the factory. And there's really no imagination. It's like air fryer sheets. It's like white mug. It's really difficult to differentiate yourself at £5. You pay your cost of goods and your freight, you're probably at £2, £2.50. FBA fees, which is your storage fee and your shipping fee from Amazon, that's 15% plus about 5%. You're left with no money. And then when you get to the VAT threshold, forget about it, you're minus. That's why when we sell higher price point, we've got much more margin so that we can actually make money. Okay. And that's ultimately what we're here to do, to make the world a better place, of course, because we're all good citizens, but we're also here to make a bit of money while we sleep. So we don't have to trade our hours for money. So this is good. Alibaba is good. The other websites that someone's asking for, yeah, so made in China. Let me get it up and I will share my screen. For those of you maybe just running businesses right now where you're buying stuff and you're buying stuff from people here in the UK and you're like, you know what, you could also like buy stuff for your own business here. So, if somebody's in, I don't know, whatever, you could come to here and buy your sundries and stuff from here, as long as you can buy enough, bulk to make a difference. So there's lots of things. So look, it's just coming up with ideas at the moment. Exercise, yoga mat, fold mat, gym mat, all of these different things. And again, look, I mean, you can literally get everything. Anything you want, you can get here. Literally. Look at these, are pretty cool. Different shapes. Sometimes it's good just to have like a peek around. You know what I mean? Just like if you're feeling uninspired, like come and have a look in these categories. Why not? Football and soccer, tennis, tents, martial arts, skin beauty, dental apparatus, all of this stuff. Can you imagine selling a golf cart on Amazon? I don't think so. It's a bit big, but still, you might want one for yourself, for your land, so you can go to your golf course once you've got a big Amazon business. So look, lots and lots of things. So again, come here, have a look, get some inspiration, run the numbers. Obviously, if we're doing the research for you, you don't need to worry about all of this, but you need to know it for next time. So you still need to understand the process. Okay. So there's lots and lots of great ideas here. You can just come have a look. What I would say, I mean, I wouldn't suggest doing an electric car for your first product. It might just be a little bit out of your remit. But, if you're doing electricals, there's a lot of certification needed. So you do need like UKCA a lot of the times. And depending, like rechargeable batteries and things like that are quite tricky because you have to have a UL number. And there are some things that are more tricky because I've done a lot of tech before, and I do a lot of tech for some of the department stores as well. And we have to have lots of certifications. So just be sure if you're going ahead with an electrical, that's why a lot of Amazon coaches like myself will say never ever do electricals, because it's what we call a gated category. It means that it keeps a lot of sellers out, which means it's not as competitive as it should be. But a lot of sellers are put off because the amount of certification you need. So it's kind of like a good thing and a bad thing. It's a good thing if you know what you're doing. It's a bad thing if you don't, because you can get stuck with products and then you can't sell them because Amazon will request all of these certifications. And if you don't have them, you can't sell them. So you might have spent thousands of pounds. I had a lady, I think the biggest amount somebody has spent on stock who's having a challenge is £50,000. No word of a lie. And now I'm trying to help her sell all this stock on Amazon. So she's been mentored, and then she's been and bought all this stock. She's got over £50,000 of stock that she can't sell. So yeah, it's a challenge. So try not to buy the wrong product, guys. You don't want to be left with trying to sell it. Sometimes what you will find when you launch a product on Amazon, you do have to maybe reduce the cost just a little bit to get up the ranking. So you're not going to make maybe your 30%, you might be making a 10% margin. But as soon as you start going up the rankings, and we just kind of up the price, up, 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 up. So sometimes there is a strategy. And remember, when you're competing with bigger brands, there is a bit of a give initially. And that's why I always say Amazon, it isn't a get rich quick scheme. It's not like you're going to chuck in, you know, £3,000 today into stock and tomorrow you're going to be a millionaire. If someone tells you there's a business model that makes you a millionaire overnight, then be very wary, because an Amazon business is really about the future, about building your brand, getting your foot in now, because who knows in 3-5 years if there is going to be any room in Amazon at all. Even though there's plenty of different countries, ultimately, if you're a UK resident, it's going to be easy to sell here in the UK. So that being said, there's another website that's really, really good, Global Sources. Let me just see if it allows me to share without swapping. Sometimes it does. Oh, yeah, it will. Okay. Again, just such an array of amazing products, like literally everything you can think of, like, you know, projectors, makeup. I do loads of makeup, by the way. So if anyone wants to do makeup, the MOQ is sometimes high, the minimum order quantities, and you do have to be on the GB portal to sell makeup. So you have to have your CPSR and your PIF files. But if you want to do makeup and personal care, I'm your galley, because I've been doing it for 18 years. And I'm going to be launching one of my new products soon. This is the cutter guide. This is the box here on my desk, coming to you very soon. So I will be updating you on my journey. So yes, this is Global Sources. So anything you want on here, so you can just type in here products you're looking for, or if you're looking for a certain supplier, and look here, India, South Korea, Vietnam. It's not just China, guys. You can source from anywhere in the world. Okay, obviously with the US, if you are selling in the US, I don't think I've got anyone here tonight. I don't think Jack's here. If you are selling in the US, there's now loads of tax. Trump's put in like 20% and 25% taxes on anything coming from other countries. It's really gone mad. So you can imagine how many Amazon sellers are just, well, spitting feathers at the moment, because they've probably got a really big business. They've been doing Amazon for 10 years, 15 years, and along comes Trump, puts tariffs on it, and their business is questioned overnight because of the tariffs. Now, obviously, the brands will be all putting up their prices because they can't absorb it. So it's going to affect the end user, which is a real shame. But that's America. So it's not really affecting us, thankfully. So this is Global Sources. So really, again, have a look, have a delve, you know, have a look around to see what products take your fancy. And yeah, it's just really good to kind of get, immersed in this stuff. You'll be surprised what amazing products you can find. And of course, with all of these platforms, there's a request for quotations at the top here that I'm just highlighting in red. What I love about the RFQs, that's request for quotations in short form, RFQ, is that you can actually send one email, one quotation, and it goes to all the factories that do those products. Now, they might not answer you back. If you've got a good profile and you've been buying for many years, you probably will get answers. But you can get your request directly to all the factories without having to go through every single one. And that obviously takes time, right? So yeah, so you can just fill it out. Like here, I could fill out like, please enter a specific product name. So if I was looking for the fishing rod, I'd put in fishing rod, quantity, how many, and then, whether it's pairs or whatever, units, probably units, right? Because I just want to buy units. I don't want to buy pairs. I certainly don't want to have tons and container loads, especially 200 container loads. That would be expensive. Yeah, so fill it out, send a request for quotation off, and yes, you'll get bombarded with lots of emails, and then you can answer them and get on your journey. And again, always create yourself an account. Use the same passwords. It's a bit easy if you're doing a lot of sourcing, or just put them, in a safe, secure place, and pop in here and start your journey. Then what happens is once you start talking to the factories and you get the quotations back, you need to work out if it actually stacks up, because it's not just the price of the product, it's also the price of the freight coming into the UK. Okay. It will come directly into Amazon, but you'll need to get a price for the freight as well. Initially, we can only have a maximum of 200 units coming into Amazon, because Amazon FBA will only free up enough space for 200 units. That's because all new sellers, imagine if they gave you enough room to store 2,000, 3,000 units and it didn't sell, Amazon would be full of dead product. So they do it because it's kind of like they want to see that product's going to work. And as soon as it starts selling, they give you much more room. So they allow you to sell 300, 400, 500, and it doesn't just go up in hundreds, it can go up in anything. So it's all done on an algorithm. So quickly you can start expanding, okay? But initially you're only looking at 200 products to be able to fund and stock into Amazon. From there, what we do is obviously we start looking at the brand name. And again, brand name is super important, because if we don't have a good brand name, and we don't let the packaging do the talking, and we don't make it look pretty, then who's going to buy it? Because we have to know that is our real estate. So Amazon, when we put those images up, that's going to be our real estate. Actually, I've got another one I've got lots of students launching brands. It's really exciting. I've got to show you this. Let me find him. Hold on a moment. So, where are you? Where are you? Where are you? This is another one of the one winning product students. I'm very proud. Look at me, like a proud mom. 4.6 stars. Hello, we've just launched. That's good, isn't it? We're loving that. And look, the real estate. So look, it tells you what it does. A mini bike pump. Who wouldn't want them? You can inflate your canoe, your bike wheels, your car wheels. Look at this. So if you need one of these, you've got to buy this product. Mine's shown in US dollars. My computers have gone a bit nuts tonight, but it is the UK. Look at this. Compact, portable, flexible. Tells you everything you need to know. Look how fast it inflates. All of this good stuff, what you get. And we've got a little video too. So again, this is why when you do the branding, you do the real estate, it's why it's really super, super important. So people can really see what they're buying. So we do the logo, we do the packaging, we get that delivered into Amazon, and then we start selling, of course, and we do the listing, and that's how it works. Of course, we've got a few more complicated things in between. We've got barcodes. That's a fun one. Some of the students know all about barcodes. We buy them from GS1 and then we put them into Amazon and then it converts into an Amazon barcode. But all these kind of anomalies are not to be worried about right now because you guys are right in the beginning, most of you. And then products come into Amazon from the factory and they start selling. And then you start running ads and your ranking gets better and better and moves towards an indexing more forward, which is a good thing. And for those of you who didn't see, the other client that launched was in the States. Just have to show you this one because we're still going great guns. I just wanted to show you the packaging really. So we packaged two products together. And again, this is like the box that I created. So it just shows you what it does. And we've got some really nice videos. And yeah, it's very, very good. And we've got now like loads of reviews as well, which is fantastic. So again, this is what we're aiming for. So we're aiming for one of these products. I'm not saying this product because don't copy this product because this is my client. But what we're aiming for here is we're aiming for you to come up with a unique idea. So in the beginning, we create the product, we create the idea, then we go, we source it, we just check the pricing works. What are we going to do different? What do people don't like? What would be good with it? How would we use it? Because remember, we know a lot about this product. And then we check the figures, we get the sample, we do the logo, we do the branding. It sounds like a lot, but it's really simple. And we order it and we ship it in and we sell it. And then we rinse and repeat. So with this product, now we're doing two other products, line extensions. So we're going to do more expensive products. We're going to do a $100 one and a $150 one. Okay. Sometimes people might want to launch one product, but then they're like, oh, I actually want to do dogs now, or I want to do something to do with, I don't know, gardening. That's fine too. What I would always say in the beginning is try to do something that is not seasonal. So we're not looking to do like, you know, Santa Claus is for the garden, for instance, or, you know, something that's like Easter bunnies, because you've got a very, very short window and then you're going to sit with stock for all the year round and you're literally going to have nothing to sell. Right, guys, I've talked for 45 minutes straight now. I think I've touched on all my questions. I need some questions from you. I'm going to have a sip. Come on. Is there any questions?
I have a question while you're talking. Sorry.
Hey, go for it, Mira.
Um, yeah, so because these are brand new products, who is actually doing the pictures and the videos?
I did it for this one, but I actually found a really good person that does content videos on Fiverr, believe it or not. So I did this, I mean, not me personally, my team did this one that was like the instruction one. So like this one here, that's like, not this one here, that's like, I'd always say like have an information one. So we did this one that's like, it's basically stills. There's a bit of footage. But so we shot this one. But there is, honestly, you can't believe it. I was actually amazed. I just sent one of my clients' products to, there's a girl, well, there's a few girls and a few guys on Fiverr. So Fiverr, guys, is a website for freelancers. It's fiverr.com. You can hire staff freelancers on there. So if you haven't got designers, I got this girl literally to do like almost like an influencer, and it was so good on one of the other products. I don't know if I've got it on here. I don't think it's here. Is this one it?
How long does it take approximately to be done a video or the pictures and everything?
Not very
Or
long.
depends on the
So
person?
what I would do for the pictures, let me just show you actually. So for the pictures, when you're ready with the pictures, now obviously I have a designer full time. So we have just, I mean, we are creating some awesome imageries and we just got, I would show you, but it's so good. I'd love to show you, but maybe next month because we're just launching his product. And we've done the images and the A+ content, which is, there's 2 sets of images you need. Well, actually there's 3 because there's store images. But if you have the trademark, so maybe I'll get to show you next month. But if you haven't got, if you haven't got another business and you haven't got a designer or you haven't got me, then what you need to do is just find someone really, really good. So I would go to somewhere like Fiverr. Let me just pull it up a minute. Dung, 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 dung. Hold on. Did I have it up here in my windows? I'm sure I did. Yes. Let me just share my screen. Never ever just use the images you get from the factory, because especially Mirror, like what you're doing at the moment, because you're not branding all the products you're bringing in. Obviously, the big one we are branding, but obviously because you're trying different things. Obviously, I'm not mentioning what you're doing, but just, you know, I'm speaking a little bit in code, everybody. What I would say to you is you need to make sure you've got some images that differentiate your product, because otherwise, if you use the factory images and someone else is using them, you're going to look exactly the same.
Yeah.
So because Mira's doing 2 different strategies. So she's doing the private label, an amazing product that's her own. It's kind of, we're working on it together. It's going to be really unique. But in the meantime, she also wants to just dip her toe in the water with lots of other little products. So she's buying very low quantities, and eventually she'll flip them into private label products, but she just wants to try a few. So that's her strategy. So everyone has slightly different strategy depending on time, how much money you want to, like, you know, all of that kind of stuff. But this is Fiverr.com. It's completely amazing. And now I would recommend it if I didn't think it was great. Now, obviously, I have my own designers now. At the agency, we do. But sometimes, if we are really stuck and we're overran, I will use Fiverr. You can see I've got some messages up here, so I'm not lying. All you do, this is the kind of stuff they do. Look, I mean, if you put your cursor over here, I mean, there's nothing really that they don't do. Graphics and design, programming, tech, digital marketing, you know, there is someone here for everything. What I would say is don't go overboard. Don't give somebody loads of tasks and pay them hundreds of pounds. Fiverr started off with every service was a fiver, literally a fiver, £5. What you find now is sometimes it might be $5, but it's more like $10 or $15 for a job, and sometimes they're like the advanced or the next level is like $50 or $100. So it does get quite pricey, and some of them are like level 2 or pro sellers, which means they have more skill, which means you can be paying a lot of money, probably the same price you would pay a designer here. So you have to kind of tread carefully. But again, it's about reading the reviews, looking at their assets, looking at what they're already doing. So if I want, say for instance, I want Amazon images, I would put here Amazon, oh, spell it correctly first. Amazon listing. Oh my God, you can tell it's near 9 o'clock. Brain's gone. Amazon listing images, yeah? And then look what it does now, guys. It's going to bring up a whole host of people. Now, if I am needing something super fast because, say, someone's sick, or we've got 6 jobs and we can only do 5, or it wouldn't happen with my listing images, but maybe something else, I would just go straight down to this peach section, because I know that these deliver quick and the top quality. Normally, it says, like, it gives you their star rating out of 5 stars. So like Mr. Maha, whatever, Mahia, he's got 122 reviews and he's 4.9. 27 reviews, 5-star. 136, 4.9, 882. Now, you might look at this and think, oh, wow, £5, I'm in. But when you click into him, Saeed, you may find that actually, oh, that's one image. I need more than one image. You've got to have at least 7 images, remember, okay? So what's his premium? Okay, so his premium is 25. Okay, it's not bad, but now is he good, right? Because £25 is not that much, but if he's rubbish, it's a lot. So what you do is then you have a look at all of his listings. Now, it looks pretty rubbish, if I'm honest. Not very good. So I say no. Definitely no. I would look for someone else. But then, you know, I've been doing this a long time. So I would probably look at the budget. You can, you know, seller details. I'd probably go top rated or level 2 because I don't really want people that don't know what they're doing. And then start looking like this one looks quite professional, doesn't it? Look, it's top rated. So I would looking at this guy here or this girl, whoever it is. Okay, they're not here. They don't have any time. It's really just about looking like 971 reviews and it's 4.9. So these look pretty good. But I'd look at more closely. So you probably need like, so this then starts to get quite expensive. Do you see what I mean? So you've got to really look through these. But these are better, aren't they? These look to me. So your first image is always going to be on white background, and it's going to be mainly Amazon don't allow you to have brand logos on the first image. So what I'd be looking for here is like that first image is like 85% of that white background needs to be an image. So I'm like looking at that and I think, wow, yeah, that's good. I like this. You need to make these infographics, okay? So I would say this one's pretty good. I would be happy to pay £240 for that. But again, you're going to need to give them the information. So you're going to need to type out image 1, first image. This is the image that I want to use. Image 2, I want to talk about this, these features, these benefits. Okay. Because they're only going to be as good as the information you give them. You can't just say, oh yeah, I need 7 images. Thank you very much. Goodbye. It's like, what? So you're going to need to give them your brand colors. You're going to need your logo. This is what I want to talk about. So you're going to have to get the specs from the factory and then look at the other ones in your category and go, right, so I need to say, oh, this one's got 8-hour battery. This one's got hot and cold settings. This one's got for the rain. This one's for the, you know, you've got to talk about all the features of the product, the benefits. So it's always 95% features, 5% benefits. What is so good about your product? Why do they need to buy yours versus anyone else? So you can do comparison tables. So yes, does that answer your question, Mira? So I would go here.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah.
Get shopping. Yeah, it's all about finding good people, right? I mean, good people know good people, and the same with your translation, the same with if you're doing German translations, like anything you need, really, you can find here. Um, there are some bad people. I would always ask to see their work. If you can't see enough on Fiverr, ask them to send you a sample of their work. It's not inappropriate to do that. And I would make sure that they are really good. If they're not, then you're going to waste your money. If you've got the trademark, you also need to consider A+ content, which is your enhanced brand content. So it means if you look on Amazon, for instance, let me find Amazon. Let me find Amazon. I'm just trying to find my window. Sorry. I mean, so for instance, we're back on fishing rods. Sorry, guys. You're going to be fishing in your sleep tonight. Okay. Let's see if anyone's got brand registry here. Maybe this guy. Okay, so this person here, this brand has got brand registry because they've got, when I look under their title, they've got a store. And if you're given a store, it means you've got a trademark. You've registered against your Seller Central account. Again, it may be too much information for some of you. But as I scroll down, they should have A+ content here, which will help them. And they don't. So that's not a good example. Okay. Let me find one that does have. And I'll show you what A+ content is. If I can actually get this thing to delete. So let's look at Kodak. Here we go. So Kodak's obviously a brand, has brand registry, has a store. And if you scroll down, you would think it would have A+ content, but it doesn't. Okay, basically A+ content is, so under your product and your description, and it should have more images than this. This is terrible. It has one. It should have at least 7. You can then add more info. So it'll be like more about this product. So you can do like comparison tables. You can do in-depth storytelling. You can do like literally in-depth brand story, lots of really nice things. And it's just a way of really connecting more with people, and people can go into your store as well and buy other products from your store. But you only get that if you have the trademark and you have brand registration. Oh, we've got some questions. Oh my God. Okay, Margaret. Hello, my darling. I joined the group last month. I've been going through the modules. My question, after you find a supplier and place your order, does it come to you first before then, or does it go directly? Okay, great question. Margaret, when you place your order, well, first of all, you need to get the sample. You need to check everything. You need to make sure it's really good, it's better than anybody else's, and you've done the nice logo and packaging. When you've done that, I think I'm sticking a little bit. That's fine. When you place your order then, it will be going directly into Amazon. You open your Seller Central account, and basically you put your barcode in, you create your listing, and then you print your item labels and send them to the factory. So yes, you send them directly from the factory into Amazon, but make sure that you have looked at the samples, checked the samples, liked the samples, because if not, then you can't just send them in without checking them. I think I'm lagging a little bit. Okay, second question. Secondly, I set up my Alibaba profile this week and I've ordered a sample of one of the hot products, vitamin C facial set care. Great. Look, if it's selling really fast, then fantastic. Just make sure that you have all the regulations. When you are selling anything for the skin, because the skin is the biggest organ and it's going straight into the bloodstream, it's basically, it has to be registered. So it's almost like for safety. So we have a GB portal. So what you're going to need to request from them, ask them if they've got all the information for the CPMP, which is the European portal, and the SCMP for the GB portal. Basically, you need the full PIF file. You will have to pay for registration. It's not that expensive, and I can help you. It's about £200 if you've got all the documents, but you just need to make sure you've got all the documents. But yeah, look, there's so many great things right now. You just need to jump on it. And I must say, like, you know, everything to do with, you know, vitamin C, you know, people understand what that does. So people love it. So just make sure you've got all the certification. My God, where does this time go? I obviously talk too much. Okay, guys, are there any more questions? Are there any more questions for me? Any more questions? Any more questions? Right.
Kelly,
Yes, Suban, hello.
hi. Sorry, I just have one last question, which is basically related to what you were speaking about with listings.
Yes.
So, from what I gather, you know, you have to provide sort of a frame of, you know, content to the designers for the listings. However, in terms of images, where you say not to, you know, include factory images, for example. But then when you're dealing with quite large products, you know, you obviously want to have some lifestyle shots in terms of how the product is going to be utilized and what makes it practical and attractive and, you know, so forth. So how would we do that when we're dealing with people on Fiverr?
So really easy. So if you find good people, what happens is You get the images from the factory. You
Hmm.
then put together a storyline of image 1 to 7. So you go like, image 1 is just white on background. So you'd have a good shot from the factory of that. You'll ask them to take pictures for you, and then they'll hopefully send you a zip file. And then with all the other ones, you will write basically like what you want on every image, because you've got to remember a lot of these people on Fiverr as well, English isn't their first language. So you
Mm.
write like features this length by this length. And what they cleverly do, they'll find stock images from like iStock photo, this one, that one, and then they'll superimpose stuff on, and it looks brilliant. So when they're really creative, they don't even need your product. You just send them images and they do all the artwork around it. It's brilliant.
Okay.
So it
Okay.
just works. Your listing
Right.
is completely different. So I know that you're doing done with you. So that obviously sort of finishes once we find the product and get to Amazon. But so you will be responsible for this part. But obviously, I'm here to help you. And the when you create the listing, that's a whole other thing. We will look at the keywords, which was on the original report. And depending on which variations of, speaking a little bit in code,
Mm.
uh, we will then embed everything in the listing. You'll do all your back-end search terms, your keywords. And then, yeah, you upload that into Amazon with your barcode. You upload your images. And then you get your barcodes off and send them to your supplier. They box everything and send everything into Amazon.
Okay.
So,
Okay. So you've just got to make sure you've requested the zip file from the factories so that
correct.
you can
Got to
forward,
say,
right?
yeah, you've got to say, can you make sure you take me loads of great pictures for my listing? They'll take loads of pictures. You go through them, eliminate any ones that are a little bit ropey. But when you send them to the designer with your 1 to 7 wish list on the images, they will use that's what you're paying them for. They're going to use their creative juices to kind of, whip up these beautiful images, and they're going to put infographics on. So information onto graphics, and then some lifestyle pictures. So, a family, I'm not
Mm.
the product, but,
Yeah.
showing how it is in setting.
Yeah. Okay. Fantastic. Thank you.
You are very welcome, darling. You're very welcome. So, guys, that brings me to an end. We're going to record this, put it on the Zoom group, the platform tomorrow. If you've got any questions, remember you do have our number if you want to text anybody in the team. We've always got people answering the WhatsApp. I'm going to put the number here. If you need help with anything, don't be alone. Reach out to us and we will help you. Yeah, and that's it.
Kelly,
Get
can I ask you please to share with me the link for the platform? I've never been in your platform. I'm not sure if I have the link.
who is
And you said that you are sharing their different information, some
oh yes, of
templates and
course.
etc. And I've ever been there.
Is that Mirror?
Yeah,
Oh my God, yes. We'll send you the link, darling. It'll be your link for your email, so you'll have to set the password. Yes, I'll send you it. No wonder you've been struggling. I'm like, it's on the platform, and you're like, oh, I can't see the platform. Okay, I will send it to you tonight. Don't worry.
thank you.
All right, darling. Thank you,
If you
guys.
could just share the number again, please, Kelly. I didn't quite
Yes,
manage to scribble it down.
yes, of course, of course. You've got my number anyway, haven't you?
I've got yours, yeah. I chew your ear off all the time.
Oh, fine.
Thank
We're
you.
working together, darling. It's a journey, darling. It's a journey.
Yeah, lovely. Thank you so much.
Oh, welcome. Lovely to see you all. Well, not to see you, but to hear you all. And see you very soon. See you next month. Please, if you need anything, give us a shout. We're here to help you and make you our next success. Greg, you're going to be very successful. We're just waiting for that, beautiful prototype. If there's anything else you need, give us a shout and speak to you all soon.
Thank you,
Thank
Kelly.
you. Good luck,
Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you.
guys.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Kelly. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Welcome. You're welcome. Take care, guys.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.